Today, I wanted to do sort of just a process page about art journaling and how I sit down and use my journal as a way to de stress. Like, I think art is the best way to de stress anyway. Why I just mindlessly paint sometimes. I have pre done this page with some gesso so it will be dry for us. I brought with me some brushes and then my Stabilo All pencils, black, red, and blue. I like these because when you get them wet, they run. I like to start out with some random marks and to kind of let things just run. So without thinking too much about what I'm doing, and I wet my brush just a little bit and I just start getting the marks to run a little bit. I'm not looking for anything in particular. I'm just letting it happen. To me, this is a de-stress moment. So it's really a great way to de-stress unless you're all anxious about what you put on your page. I don't want anybody to be anxious about what they put on their page because we can fix anything. No matter how much you don't like it, you can cover anything up. I keep in mind that I'm going to layer these pages. I just kind of go intuitively. If I start with these marks on my page, I'm just going to pick this light blue color and I'm going to kind of color in a little section here. Sometimes I make my paint watery, sometimes I just don't. Now the thing about the Stabilo All pencils is they're going to run until they dry with some paint on them, and then they won't run anymore. Now I'm kind of just going with it. I have no plan here, really. But I like to get my brush wet because I like this thinning sort of line here. I'm interested in doing something with this above part, so I think I'm gonna I'm gonna wet my brush so that it's good and wet. This is a very bright color. So I'll work sometimes just right out of the cap, as you can see. But I'll add a lot of water here. Now, if I don't like the way something's going, I have some baby wipes over here, and sometimes I'll pick this up and I'll just wipe it back a little bit. I'm just gonna do this here. And this is where a little water goes a long way because just thinning that down a little bit makes it a little more sheer. I like it better this way. I might want to wipe some of this up a little bit. I don't like the perfect line. I think I'm going to smear this with this baby wipe. So you can paint with a baby wipe. And I kind of like this effect. It's grungy, not perfect. I like to scratch into some of this sometimes. I like to make a mess, basically. The stress-free part of it is not worrying about it being perfect. Let's pretend we're not all social media mavens. These things are for us, and that's what makes them fun to do. If you're not trying to be perfect and not trying to be master artists, that's when they work the best to me. These are pieces of papers that I've already made. These are basically just shreds of paper. When I put these in, I like to use some gel matte medium. I like matte so that it doesn't make my pages all shiny and sticky. I don't like them to stick together. So I have a lot of choices here. I kind of saw this and this really attracted my eye. I really like this also. I don't know. I love this though. And I like it torn. I think the torn edge is attractive. So maybe I'll start with these. This oval is something I love, and these black dots. So I think I'm going to put this up here. This is matte medium, fluid matte medium. It doesn't matter if this gets all over your page because honestly it dries matte. You don't really have to worry about that. Usually I start, and by the time I get started and get things going, if I was feeling stressed from my day, I've started to forget about it already. And that's the beauty of art journaling. And I take my baby wipe and kind of wipe some of that up. And I have a Q-tip here. I want to add something in here. I have some, these are, that could work. These are stickers that I had made a long time ago. I have some Neo Color 2 Caran crayons here. I want this bluish color. I want something more in there. The Caran crayons are water soluble. If we get a little carried away, we can wipe that off a little bit. I feel like this really needs something. Let's look for something to balance all that. So maybe something like that. Now I'm just pushing that down. And sometimes when you're not so precious about this, it gets better. I am going to pull out my brayer and I am going to put a little white paint. And sometimes that just brings things back for me. That little bit of white paint over something where it still peeks through, spreading the colors. And I like when that happens. These are Stabilo Woodies. These are actually a children's art supply, or considered a children's art supply. Again, these are water soluble. This is why they smudged here like this. I really like that. Maybe I want to give it a little more definition. Maybe the idea is the image is sort of a flower, like not really outwardly. And you could see I have the baby wipe in my hand. And these woodies just, oh, maybe I want to bring that back in because I kind of liked what was there. Without letting it be too on purpose. More just a suggestion. So then this makes me want to do one of these. And I don't know. This is my Caran again. This is that olive color. It just seemed to be the right thing. I still don't know what that is, but I'm going to leave it. I don't hate it. This is a little bright. So if I were working by myself, I would walk away from this at this point and I would kind of just leave it. And then come back and see how I feel. What do I want to do to it? I may never add another thing to it. I might come back and be like, you know what? I need to add a lot more color. I need to add other colors. I want other things going on in there. So I feel like I'm overworking it now. So I'm just going to leave it and let it go. That's my page for now for today. This is often how I work. You know, I could walk away from here a lot of times and really not be happy with it. And then I come back the next day and I think, oh, that's great once it dries. Or, oh, I want to add something else to it. Or something totally different will inspire me and I want to do something totally different. Even if I spent 10 minutes on this page, usually I find my breathing has slowed. I'm feeling as though I'm in a much different place than I had been before. This is what art does for me. And I hope this is what art does for you.